You ever notice it? That shift, that hush that falls over the air the second you step into a room. Nobody announces it, nobody dares say it out loud, but they feel it, like static crawling across their skin, like the oxygen just got heavier. That's not coincidence, that's not luck, that's you. Your aura, your energy, your dominance. See, most people walk into a room like they're asking permission to exist. Heads low, voices small, hoping someone notices them, desperate for approval. But not you. You don't ask. You don't beg. You command attention. Your very presence rewrites the atmosphere. The room doesn't accept you. It adjusts to you. The walls themselves lean in, listening, like even brick and stone know they're in the presence of something greater. And here's the part they'll never admit out loud. It terrifies them. Because power like yours doesn't shout, it vibrates, it radiates. It makes people rethink their posture, their tone, their little masks of confidence. Around you, fake confidence cracks. Loud mouths go quiet. The ones who thought they were the center suddenly shrink. Because deep down, they know they're standing in the orbit of someone who doesn't just take space, someone who is the space itself. It's not about looks. It's not about money. It's not even about reputation. Aura is older than all of that. It's primal. It's in the way your silence says more than their speeches. It's in the way your eyes cut through masks, through lies, through souls. They can't fake calm around you. They can't fake strength. Because your presence exposes everything. It's a mirror they can't run from. And when you enter, they realize this isn't just another person. This is gravity. This is dominance walking on 2 feet. So ask yourself, why do the walls shake when you enter? Because even lifeless things know what the living are too. Scared to admit, you've become a force, a storm dressed in skin. And storms don't ask, they claim their place. Watch their eyes when you walk in. They don't look at you the same way they look at anyone else. Some avoid you completely, too afraid to make contact. Others stare too long, like they're trying to solve the puzzle of you, but end up lost inside it. That's the effect you carry. It's not normal attention, it's disruption. Your presence scrambles their equilibrium, like their nervous system just got rewired by something bigger than them. They don't even know why they feel it. They can't explain it. They just know that when you're there, the temperature shifts. Conversations bend. The tone of the room recalibrates itself. That's what aura does. It doesn't just enter a space, it reprograms it. And here's the part that really eats them alive. You don't even try. You're not putting on a show. You're not performing dominance. You're just existing, breathing, standing. But because you've lived through storms they couldn't even survive, a drizzle of your silence feels heavier than their entire life story. It's the weight of survival turned into presence. The weight of scars turned into command. Look closer. You'll see it in their little reactions. The nervous laugh that cracks out of nowhere. The sudden need to check their phone like something urgent just appeared. The way their voice lowers when they talk to you, even though they swore they weren't intimidated. That's the truth of dominance. It doesn't roar. It makes the world whisper. Your aura reminds them of everything they're not, the courage they never found, the discipline they never had, the fire they extinguished in themselves years ago. Around you, they're forced to confront their own smallness, their own fragility. And that's why they fidget. That's why they shrink. That's why they feel exposed. Because you're not just in the room. You are the room, and they know it. Your aura doesn't just shake the room. It filters it. The second you step in, the entire crowd splits without a word being said. The strong recognize you, the weak shy away. And the pretenders, they get exposed instantly, like shadows dissolving under the sun. That's what dominance does. It doesn't have to speak. It simply reveals, watch how people behave when you're there. The ones who are authentic, they breathe easier around you. They feel a strange kind of relief. Like they've finally seen someone who carries weight the way it's meant to be carried. Calm, unshaken, unflinching. But the ones who are fake, the liars, the opportunists, they squirm, they stutter, they try too hard to look unaffected. But their body betrays them. Because your presence is a lie detector, and it doesn't miss. See, aura isn't charm. It's not about playing games or winning people over. Aura is truth. It's the accumulation of everything you've survived, everything you've sacrificed, everything you refused to bow to. And when you walk in, that truth floods the room like smoke, and everyone has to inhale it, whether they like it or not. Some struggle, some thrive, but no one ignores it. And here's the part that burns them the most. You never asked to be their test. You never asked to be their mirror, but your existence alone has become the standard. They measure themselves against you without even realizing it. And the ones who can't measure up, they feel it in their bones. That quiet panic of, damn, I don't belong here. That's the mark of real dominance. Not shouting, not forcing, just existing in such a way that the entire room rearranges itself around you. You don't just enter, you expose. And once the light of your presence burns through their masks, they'll never look at you or themselves the same way again. The air itself changes when you arrive. It's not just people, it's the atmosphere. The walls feel tighter, the silence feels thicker. Even the light seems to bend around you like it knows where the center of gravity really is. That's not coincidence. That's what happens when someone who carries real weight steps into a space. The entire environment reacts. Look closely. Conversations don't just pause, they redirect. Even if they pretend not to notice, the rhythm of the room shifts, subtly orbiting you. People lower their voices without meaning to. Others stand straighter, suddenly aware of themselves. The ones who were loud before suddenly sound hollow. Why? Because your aura rewrote the script. Their performance doesn't fit anymore. This is what they'll never admit. They feel like strangers in your presence, even if they're standing in their own territory. That's what dominance does. It makes the familiar feel foreign. It makes the comfortable feel small. Suddenly they don't own the stage. You do, not because you demanded it, not because you asked for it, but because power isn't borrowed. It radiates, and when it radiates strong enough, it fills every corner. Here's the irony. You don't even try to take the room. You don't need to. The room offers itself to you. That's why they can't look away. That's why they stumble over words. That's why the ones who act unshakable suddenly look exposed. Because deep down, they know they've just been eclipsed. And the truth is, you're not chasing attention. You're not chasing recognition. You've just built yourself into someone impossible to ignore. And that's the most dangerous kind of presence, the one that doesn't demand to be seen, but cannot be unseen. They feel it before they realize it. That invisible weight pressing down on their chest, making every word, every movement feel heavier. That's your aura at work. It doesn't just enter a room, it intensifies it. Like the atmosphere itself thickens, like oxygen becomes scarce. Some people mistake it for nerves, but no, it's the gravitational pull of dominance. Most can't even name it. They'll say, there's just something about you. But that something is the silent pressure of someone who carries storms inside their skin. It's the weight of battles you've faced, scars you've endured, chaos you've mastered. That weight doesn't stay hidden. It leaks into the air, and the fragile feel it instantly. Their breath quickens, their mind races, and without you saying a word, they're already off balance. Pay attention. Some people will lean in, drawn to it, like moths to fire. They feel the pressure, and instead of fear, they feel alive. Because real ones recognize the charge, but the others, they shrink. They break eye contact. They rush to fill silence with empty words, trying to cover up the fact that your stillness is overwhelming them. That's the thing about presence. It's not what you do. It's what they feel. You don't have to touch them. You don't have to speak. Just standing there is enough to make the weak expose themselves and the strong sharpen themselves. You've become the storm and the filter, and that pressure, it's not cruelty, it's clarity. It shows you exactly who belongs and who never did. And the best part? You never asked for their reaction, their unease, their awe, their admiration. That's all theirs. All you did was walk in. They change around you. They can't help it. Their voice lowers when they speak to you. even though they swore they'd never bow to anyone. Their jokes suddenly die on their lips because they sense you're not here for games. Even the way they sit, the way they breathe, the way they choose their words, it all shifts. Like instinct itself is telling them, careful, you're in the presence of something different. That's the hidden power of aura. You don't move toward them, they move toward you. Not physically, psychologically. They adjust, they calibrate, they second-guess themselves, and the more they adjust, the more they reveal the truth. You're not in their world anymore, they're in yours. It's not intimidation, it's influence. The kind of influence you can't fake. The kind that comes from scars earned in silence, discipline paid in effort and time. The kind that seeps into your very posture, your stillness, your tone. You don't need to shout to be heard. The air delivers your presence for you. Here's the secret. Power isn't in control, it's in gravity. And you've become gravity itself. People rotate around you without even realizing it. They lower their noise, they tame their ego. They measure their ambition against yours. And in that silence, when they bend unconsciously, you see exactly where everyone stands. Some rise, some fold, some retreat, but none remain unchanged. Because aura like yours doesn't allow neutrality, it demands a response. And that's why rooms shift under your weight. You don't just exist in them. You redefine them. Notice the silence, notice the pause. When you walk in, even time seems to drag its feet. Like the clock itself doesn't want to compete with your presence. Moments feel longer. Words stretch. People hesitate before speaking, like they're trying to measure every syllable against the weight of your silence. That's not imagination, that's power. Because aura doesn't just guide people, it guides rhythm. It hijacks the tempo of the room. Suddenly, every eye, every thought, every heartbeat in the space sinks to you. They're not living their own moment anymore. They're living in yours. Watch how the loudest one becomes quiet. Watch how the restless one sits still. Even the impatient, the ones who never wait for anyone, somehow find themselves slowed down when you arrive. That's because your presence doesn't rush. It doesn't chase. It demands patience. It demands attention. And time itself obeys. This is what they'll never understand. Real control isn't about how fast you move. It's about how fast you make the world move around you. And right now, your world bends at your pace. Seconds feel heavy. Minutes stretch. And no matter how badly they want to ignore it, they can't. You've placed them under a spell of gravity. And until you leave, they're locked inside your frame of time. The truth? That's why they can't stop staring. That's why they stumble. Because while they're scrambling to adjust, you're calm, unshaken, timeless, and nothing unsettles people more than someone who carries eternity in their stillness. You're not just in the room, you own the moment. And in a world obsessed with speed, nothing is more powerful than someone who bends time by simply being. It's not the words you say that move them, it's the words you don't. The silence, the stare, the stillness. People are unsettled by what they can't predict. And you are the storm they can't forecast. Your aura isn't loud, but it's undeniable. It whispers into the back of their minds. Be careful, pay attention, don't slip. And suddenly, even the ones who thought they could play games with you hesitate. Their laugh dies halfway. Their smile stiffens. Their voice drops a tone. Why? Because something inside them knows. This is not someone you take lightly. Respect is funny that way. You don't ask for it. You don't beg for it. You don't raise your hand and say, please notice me. No, respect comes on its own when presence is undeniable. When energy speaks louder than lips ever could. That's the gift of aura. It makes people react before they understand why. They feel the weight of you before they can explain it. Like standing in front of fire before you see the flames. Like feeling the tremor before the earthquake hits. It's instinct. It's primal. It's fascination wrapped in gravity. And here's the powerful part. They don't just respect you. They study you. They watch your movements, your pauses, your smallest expressions. hoping to decode you. But you remain a riddle, an unsolved equation, a locked vault, and the harder they try to figure you out, the more they realize you're not meant to be solved. You're meant to be respected. So when you walk into a room and the air tightens, when people straighten up without even knowing why, understand this: that's not intimidation, that's recognition. They know greatness when it walks past. They know presence when it refuses to announce itself, yet demands to be acknowledged. You don't need permission to own the room. The room already belongs to you. Here's the part most people never admit. Even the ones who wear crowns, hold titles, sit in high places, they feel it. They feel you. Power recognizes power, and when yours enters the room, it doesn't compete. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply exists, and that existence forces even giants to adjust. The loud ones get quieter. The confident ones rethink their words. The ones used to control suddenly pause before making their next move. That's the effect of presence without noise. You see, true power doesn't scream. It whispers in ways that echo louder than thunder. And the higher up someone is, the more sensitive they become to energy. Because deep down, they know the same aura that silences a room could also shake their throne. Watch closely. When you enter, the subtle tells give it away. The powerful ones glance your way without meaning to. The ones who never second-guess themselves suddenly double-check their tone. The so-called untouchables suddenly become human again, not because you confronted them, but because your aura reminded them they're not untouchable at all. And that's the irony. The stronger your presence grows, the more the world pretends not to notice. They'll hide it behind forced smiles, quick jokes, casual dismissals, but their body betrays them. The stiff posture, the swallowed words, the way they avoid locking eyes for too long. Because presence isn't always about what you say to them. It's about what they feel about themselves when standing next to you. The room doesn't just change when you walk in. The people in it rearrange themselves around your gravity. Some lean closer, craving to belong. Others step back, afraid of being exposed. And the few who dare to stand against it, even they know they've already lost the moment they acknowledge you. Because aura isn't about control, it's about inevitability. And you are inevitable. The real proof of power. It's not just when you're there, it's when you're gone, and they're still talking about you. Think about it. The strongest presence isn't measured in the moment. It's measured in the silence after. When you leave a room, the air doesn't reset, it lingers. Conversations replay in their minds. They rethink what they said. They question if they measured up. That's the ghost of influence. That's the echo of aura. Hours later, they'll still be analyzing. Did I sound weak? Did I give too much away? Why did I feel small standing next to them? They won't admit it out loud, of course, but inside, the questions gnaw. Because you didn't just step into a room, you stepped into their psyche. And once you're in, you don't leave. That's what separates presence from performance. A performer entertains, but aura imprints. It brands itself onto memory. It doesn't just make people remember you. It makes them unforgettable to themselves. You hold up a mirror they can't ignore, and some will resent you for it. Because resentment is easier than facing what they lack. Others will admire you, almost revere you, because your existence gives them something to reach for. And here's the deeper truth. Both reactions are power. Whether they respect you, envy you, or crave you, they orbit you. They bend their thoughts, their actions, their narratives around your gravity. Even when you're not there, you're still in control. So when you leave a room, don't wonder if they noticed you. Ask yourself, how long will they still feel me after I'm gone? Because aura isn't a moment, it's a shadow. And yours? It stretches further than they'll ever admit. What happens when your aura matures? It escapes the room. It leaks through walls, through whispers, through stories that travel faster than you ever could. Suddenly, people who've never met you speak your name with caution or curiosity. That's the point when your presence stops being local and starts becoming myth. Understand this. Humans love stories, and when you carry an aura like yours, they can't help but make one up. They exaggerate. They add fire to the details. They tell others, "You should have seen the way everything shifted when they walked in." And just like that, your legend grows without your permission. You don't need a spotlight. You don't need to announce yourself. The narrative builds itself around you. Why? Because influence doesn't live in moments. It lives in memory. And memory always stretches the truth in your favor. The silence you left behind, they'll retell it as tension. The calm in your eyes, they'll swear it was danger. The confidence in your voice, they'll paint it as power sharper than steel. That's why legends are born in shadows, not stages. Because what people think you are will always carry more weight than what you actually do. And with every retelling, your aura multiplies. Some will call you relentless. Others will call you genius. Some will call you untouchable. And none of them will ever agree, except on one thing: you're unforgettable. See, the world needs characters like you. People who shift energy without asking. People who leave marks on silence. People who walk into a room and rewrite the hierarchy without touching a single chair. And whether they fear you or admire you, the result is the same. They can't ignore you, and that's the ultimate currency in this world. Not love, not dislike, but inevitability. You're not just in the room anymore. You're in the story, and once you're in the story, you're already immortal. Every story has an ending, but not yours, because the kind of presence you carry isn't bound by minutes, or hours, or days. It stretches into eternity. That's the secret the world doesn't want to admit. Some people walk through life, and the world forgets them before the echo fades. But you're different. You're not a moment. You're a movement. Think about it. The room changes when you enter, but history changes when you leave. Whole timelines bend around the decisions you make. People who never even shook your hand still feel the ripple of your existence. And decades from now, when names are forgotten, when faces fade into dust, there will still be whispers of the one who carried that aura. Because here's the truth: aura like yours doesn't fade. It becomes blueprint. People will study your silence, your walk, your stare. They'll mimic your moves, quote your words, try to decode how one human could carry the weight of legends without ever asking for permission. And the harder they try to copy you, the more they'll realize they can't. Because you weren't built to blend in. You were built to bend reality, to walk into spaces and flip the gravity so everything, everyone, revolves around you. And no matter how many stories they tell, no matter how many times they twist the narrative, the core will remain unchanged. You didn't just live. You rewrote the script. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them watch. Because while they're busy with their noise, you're already immortalized in silence. And long after the lights fade, the stages collapse and the crowds disperse, one truth will still remain carved into the marrow of time itself. The room never changed you. You changed the room, and the world will never stop remembering it.